all members, Judy.
At what time?
It is 7:13.
Okay.
Number 2, board to consider and take possible action in the absence of the president and/or board clerk to appoint an acting president and/or clerk for the school district to execute any and all documents pertaining to the setting, the maturity dates, and place of the bond sale.
I'll make a motion for Desiree to act as acting president.
Second.
Parker?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Willhite?
Yes. This one's not here, you don't.
Number 3, board to consider and take action on a resolution determining the maturities of and setting a date, time, and place for the sale of the $610,000 combined purpose bonds of this school district and the designating bond counselor for the issuance of the bonds. Possible dates in order of preference: June 2nd, June 4th, June 3rd, June 7th, 2021 at noon.
So, this is what we need to do is, today, we just need to set a date for that special meeting to do that. Speaking with the bondsman, Andy Davis from Stephen L. Smith, those are the dates that they gave us in order of preference, and those need to be done during working hours so that the banks can be contacted and those things can take place that day. So my recommendation would be to go with that first date of Wednesday, June the 2nd at noon.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
The June 2nd date?
Oh, yes, sorry, June 2nd, noon. I'm sorry, Judy.
Okay. Amber, did you second it?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Willhite?
Yes.
Will that happen here?
Yes.
Number 4, discussion and vote to approve the minutes of the April 5th, 2021 regular school board meeting and the April 19th, 2021 special board meeting. Questions? You have a few minutes to look it over. Everything's good. Make a motion to approve minutes.
I'll second.
Parker?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Willhite?
Yes.
Number 5, discussion and vote to approve the general fund encumbrances and warrants.
That is, I'm not sure what that's at in your packet, but as always, Judy's done a great job going through there and some notes on some things. There are 3 purchase orders on that list that are a little bit higher, and some of those are kind of some normal things, but Carol Robertson is our elementary counselor, and we've been using the GEARS incentive funds to pay for that position, and next year, I think that is something that has been very beneficial to a lot of our students there at the elementary. We won't have those funds available next year, but we will have the ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 funds available. There's some criteria with that we have to address social emotional needs of students. So the plan would be then to continue using Carol in that capacity, but with a different fund. So that's what that one is for. Fuel cost is up just a little bit down there on the list. That's because we have more activities going on this time of year. And so that's just a little higher this month. And then, of course, our building rentals. We will speak a little bit more in June, but portable building that is over at the elementary will not be needed any longer. And I will be notifying them to kind of pick that up. We have to give them 30 days notice. All the removal fees were paid for up front, so there's not going to be any costs associated with that, so I've been told. So we are going to have to do some things with our fencing over there, but it's not a lot because the chain link goes to that building at this point, so we'll have to add a little bit there. But That shouldn't be too hard, we can do that in-house. And then the admin building, we've already started working clearing that out, and we really won't have any use for it. We have to pay for it until the end of that lease though in October, but if we get rid of it now, we could at least save a little bit in utilities during the summer. So that's kind of the plan there, is to get out of it, try to get both of those removed at the same time. So that payment will go down a little bit, but until October, we'll still have to make some payments at least till that lease runs out. Other than that, most of those 788, 793, those are things that, most of that is stimulus funds or COVID-related money and expenses. Our maintenance staff, we've had to do a few things. We've just had some repairs and lawnmowers and things like that we've had to do. But they've done a really good job of trying to do a lot of stuff just on their own without having to bring somebody else in. So I think we've done a pretty good job of keeping down unnecessary costs.
Any questions? Make a motion to approve. I'll second.
Parker,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite,
Yes.
Number 6, discussion and vote to approve the building fund, encumbrances, and warrants.
We have relied on our building fund a lot more than usual this time, and that's to try to keep our expenses down in the general fund. So we've shifted some things over, paid utility costs for the last few months. One item on there for $2,471 for fire alarm work. We've had lots of issues with with our fire alarm system that we've discovered, and I feel like it's because the company that we were using was not doing things correctly. So we've kind of started using a different company, and we've discovered that there are some things that we've got to address and get fixed. So that's a reason for that kind of additional fix, but it's pretty important, that fire alarm working correctly. So we're trying to get that corrected. $800 for parking lot repairs or prevention. Steve Barrett came in, and that round of cold weather that we had really did a number on a lot of the parking lots, and the cracks weren't awful, but if we don't treat those and maintain those the way we should, those parking lots won't last. And so we had him come in, and all of the new parking areas, he came in and filled in those cracks. So just staying on top of things like that should save us a lot of big expenses, and will make those parking lots last a lot longer. As I said, we did have, one of our newer motors has had some problems, so we've had to do some work on it, some electrical stuff, and then just replace some other things on that. But Billy's done a pretty good job of trying to fix as much of that as he can, possibly without taking it somewhere else. But we got to keep those things going too. So we did have a few little extra things come out of the building fund this month, but just kind of normal expenses.
Any questions? Motion to approve. Entertain a motion to approve. I'll second.
Parker,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes.
Number 7, discussion and vote to approve the child nutrition fund, encumbrances, and warrants.
Not much there, just normal expenses for food and milk.
Any questions on those? Motion to approve. Amber made a motion to approve. I'll second.
Parker,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes.
Discussion, number 8, discussion and vote to approve the treasurer's report.
I don't know if anything to add to it. We did get some money from Woods County that should have come to us last year when they set up their new system. They input the information wrong and mailed all our checks to Burlington. So now we have received all that back. We got our last one today. That's some good news.
Yeah, it is.
And we did, we get the check that had the settlement
Yes.
that did come in, so that's there from.
It's not on that report, but we got it
But it
today.
has come in, and like I said, it was supposed to be for a lot more, but I think it was approximately $127,000 is what we got on that settlement. I think originally it was $400,000, so it's a lot less than originally, but better than nothing.
Mhm.
Any questions? Motion to approve. Understand the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Shane second.
Parker?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Willhite?
Yes.
Number 9, discussion and vote to approve the activity fund report.
Yeah, much, I think in June, once we've gotten all the paperwork in and stuff from the track meets,
Yeah.
we'll be able to kind of give a little more accurate, detailed report on what that did for us and how all that kind of works, which it's not as much as we would like to get, but I know that the organizations that did the concessions those days, I think they did pretty well. It sure looked like it, so. Anyway, we should be able to give a little more detail. It just takes a while to send stuff into the LSSAA, get reimbursed, and get that money back.
Do you have an estimated head count, how many people were here?
We think about 4,000 for the state track meet, and probably, I don't know, maybe a third of that for regionals, but yeah, we think there was about 4,000 in attendance here that day. I know they were parked all the way down 7th Street, all the way to the Baptist Church parking lot. People were walking from there, but
Kelly Heller said there was some on 10th Street too, when she drove up here.
Yeah, people were walking to Sonic so they would lose their only parking spot, like when they would have a date.
yeah. So,
Crazy.
and I'll get into some more detail about that later in our reports, but yeah, it's,
That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Amber's doing a motion to approve. I'll second.
Parker?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Willhite?
Yes.
Number 10, discussion and vote to approve any resignations submitted.
I do have one resignation to approve tonight, and that is Jamie Landry, who is our speech pathologist. She actually submitted it just after our April board meeting, so kind of had it for a while, but anyway, she's been with us for a while, and lives in southeast Oklahoma, and just needs to spend a little more time down there, closer to family, and not be traveling quite so much. She's done a great job for us, so.
Motion to approve. Amber's doing a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Shane second.
Parker?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Willhite?
Yes.
Number 11, principals reports.
We have the elementary awards assembly Wednesday at 9:30, the high school auditorium. And then we're gonna have early dismissal Wednesday and Thursday at 12:45.
Any questions?
I'll go ahead and give, I'll get the high school principal's report. That's right, Jeremy couldn't be here tonight, so they left me a few pages. We've been a little bit busy, so. Said FCCLA has had their banquet. FCCLA filmed and submitted their National Star events. They'll find out in Nashville how they placed. Our athletic banquet is tomorrow evening. Wednesday is baccalaureate. Thursday is junior high graduation. And Friday will be high school graduation, and all of those things begin at 7 p.m. Baseball and softball teams wrapped up their seasons at Vici and district play on a very windy day. Elementary, junior high track seasons have ended. Track and field, both high school teams won regionals here. Of course, we hosted that meet. And then Saturday, hosting the state championship meet, we had 2 individual state champions, Kinley Cole in the shot put and Abby Guffey in the mile run. Hosting both of those track meets was an honor and is a big success for a town like we just talked about a little bit, just with the attendance, but anytime we can bring in something like that to our community, they shop here and buy gas and stay in the hotel rooms, but not just here. I've heard that the hotels in Alva were full, so I'm sure that their restaurants are getting hit up. I know Enid, their hotels, a lot of people were staying there. Fairview's the same way, so it wasn't just Cherokee that benefited from that event. I mean, all of the area around here in northwest Oklahoma had to have seen some economic impact for the better. So that's exciting anytime that we can do something like that. But it really was a lot of hard work, and I want to commend Jeremy on all his work that he put into that. There's a lot of things that go into track meets that nobody ever sees unless you're there doing it. And it takes days to prepare for those things. So I don't know if we'll ever get to do that again. I heard some people say that they didn't know if they wanted to, but feel the other way. So we'll have to see if that's offered again. But regionals will probably be something we'll have an opportunity to do every year. I don't know what will happen with the state track meet, but we'll see. Regional 1 Act was today. State 1 Act is next week. We did win regionals today again. I'm not sure how many years in a row that is, but it's been a little bit different this year. They didn't do it in person. That's usually done in the fall, so they've had to make all kinds of adjustments, but wouldn't expect anything less of them. The high school awards assembly is Thursday at 9:30. It's commented that our teachers and support staff, everybody's done a great job this year. On the FFA side of things, Drake Williams was a star in agribusiness, and there have only been 3 state stars from Cherokee since 1949. So that was a very big honor that Drake received and was recognized at the banquet last week for that. Drake also was a state winner in agricultural sales entrepreneurship. Tamlin Link was a state talent performer and a top 5 finalist in the state talent competition. Casey Elshman, academic excellence, and only 77 out of 741 state degree recipients got that award. So that's a very big honor there. Casey Elshman, Trevor Green, Rustin James, Gabby Solis, Drake Williams, all were state FFA degree recipients. Like I said, the banquet was last week. It was very nice. And plant sale was completed last Saturday. They're going to have a couple more. And if you can't make it on the day that they're having the sale, contact Mrs. Snyder. And then they have several activities that they plan on going to also over the summer. So it's been very busy, and we have a very busy week to get through this week. But that's all I have on there.
Number 12, discussion and vote to approve or disapprove a resolution for schools and libraries universal services E-rate for 2021-2022. This resolution authorizes filing of the Form 471 applications for funding year 2021 to 2022 and the payment of the applicant's share upon approval of funding and receipts of services.
This is just a yearly thing. This is for internet services, really, and E-rate. All of that is based off of our free and reduced forms getting turned in and where we're at there. So, like I said, just kind of a housekeeping thing that we need to do here so that we can process all that paperwork properly.
Any questions? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Amber, second?
Parker?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Willhite?
Yes.
Number 13, proposed executive session for the board to discuss personnel and employment items to include contracts and salaries for the school year 2021 to 2022 pursuant to OS 25-307B1. Motion, I'll second. Parker?
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes.
Time?
7:33.
Go ahead.
15, discussion and vote to acknowledge to return to open session.
Motion to return.
Members made a motion. I'll second.
Parker,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes.
Time?
8:41. Number 16, open session. Number 17, statement of the minutes of the executive session.
During the executive session, we discussed personnel and employment items to include contracts and salaries for the school year 2021-2022 pursuant to Oklahoma Statute 25-307B1.
Number 18, discussion and vote to employ or not to employ Shanna Ream as the district speech pathologist for school year 2021-2022.
Motion to approve.
And made a motion to employ Shanna Ream as the district speech pathologist for 2021. I will second.
Parker,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite.
Yes.
Number 19, superintendent's report.
I've already kind of hit some of this stuff in the principal's report earlier that Mr. Hickman left for us. It has been a very busy last couple of weeks. This summer, one thing that we didn't talk about, we are going to host the USA Track and Field Oklahoma Regional Meet. We've hosted that in the past, and that should be another big event that will draw several people to the community in the area. What they do on that is they pay us a facility use fee. They bring in all the workers, they get to keep the gate, but we get all the concessions for that day. So we really just open up our facilities and allow them to use that. And I spoke with them today, so there'll be a couple other calls in the future with them, just to kind of iron out some details. But like I said, that's going to be June the 19th, that's a Saturday. And so we'll make sure that Main Street and the other organizations and restaurants and everybody know that that's going to be happening. Our summer plans, talked to Billy Irvin quite a bit, and there won't be a lot of projects going on this summer. We're going to take care of our floors like we always do, and outside maintenance, just landscaping, and then a few small painting projects, but we will not have any big renovation projects or anything like that going on. Some of the teachers are going to come up and do some things in their rooms, but no big projects planned for this summer. As this year closes, we're trying to plan for next year. Mrs. Jordan is working on next year's schedule as much as she can and getting things put in place so that we can get that information out, all while trying to finish up this year. So she's done a really good job. Testing's over, but as soon as that's over, then we have to get ready for graduations and scholarships and things like that. So she's really busy this time of year, but she does a good job staying on top of things. We still don't know the exact amount that we may get for this third round of stimulus money. And as soon as we do, that's going to really start to help solidify the picture as far as the budget will go for next year and what we can do. As I've kind of mentioned before, it's going to benefit us long-term if we can try to supplant some of these funds into some of our fixed costs that we have that those funds would qualify for. That will help us kind of get back on our feet. And this short-term revenue, so we want to try to do some things that will benefit us long-term with it, but we don't want to spend it all at once and then it's gone and not really have anything to show for it there. So there are several things that we can address. One thing that we may look at is our heating and air units on the north end of this building are pretty old, and we need to have those looked at to see what what may be done there, but part of the criteria that comes along with the stimulus money is improving your air quality. So, that's something that with this short-term revenue, we might be able to address a long-term need. And a lot of times schools have to attach those to bond issues and lease purchases, and we want to try to avoid that if we can. So those are things that we will evaluate as we get into the summer. We'll have a lot better and clearer picture of what we can do with that. Our lunch meal program for the summer, we're going to be releasing some information on that this week. We will be able to provide those meals free like we did last summer, and they've extended that program into next school year, so that's going to be really good news. But we just got to get the plans out there, how we're going to do the meal distribution. It'll be very similar to what we did last summer, where you order weekly and come and pick those up. But there's going to be some options there that we did not have last year that I think we're going to be able to do this year. So we'll get that information out as soon as we can. The other thing is, and I gave all of you this sheet, we've talked about our lease purchase, refinancing that and getting a better interest rate, and we were able to do that. We were at a 3.85% interest rate on that 2017 lease purchase, and we were able to refinance that at 1.58%. So that's a huge difference. And what that will do over the next 3 years is that's going to save us approximately $150,000 that we will have to collect and pay when that becomes due. $150,000 each year for the next 3 years is what that will do. So that's a big difference. That'll be something positive there that we can do, and so we took advantage of that. Other than, like I said, graduations and finishing up this week, we've got several awards, assemblies coming up, and we hope that everybody can show up and make those. And those were things that taken away from us last year, and we're happy to have them back and get to do those things this year. I think that's all I have.
Okay, number 20, new business.
There's no new business.
Adjournment. Okay, entertain a motion to approve. I'll second.
Harder,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Willhite? Yes.
8:49.
You said everything's at 7 o'clock.